The executive bathroom on the 42nd floor of Miller Tech was supposed to be empty at 3:47 p.m. Emily Park pushed her cleaning cart past the mahogany doors, hearing something that made her freeze. A child's voice, trembling and desperate, whispering words in Mandarin. Emily had been invisible for 8 months, moving like a ghost through Miller Tech's corridors in her gray uniform. The executives rarely noticed her, but her grandmother's words echoed. The quietest voices often carry the most important messages. She'd arrived after her teaching dreams crumbled at Rutgers. A professor decided her non-traditional background wasn't suitable for American classrooms. The rejection sent her spiraling back to childhood insecurities, back to believing that being raised by a Chinese grandmother made her somehow less than. The crying grew louder. Emily's heart clenched. She'd heard that same desperate whisper in her own voice as a child. Setting down her spray bottle, Emily knocked gently. "Hey, are you okay in there?" The crying stopped. Then, barely audible, came words in Mandarin. "Nobody understands me." Emily whispered in Mandarin, "May I come in?" The lock clicked open. Sophie Miller, Daniel Miller's daughter, stood there with tear-streaked cheeks. "You speak like my mama did." Footsteps echoed. Daniel Miller's voice cut through the silence. "Sophie, what's taking so long?" He stopped dead, his cold blue eyes shifting between his daughter and the janitor. "What exactly is happening here?" Emily rose slowly. "Your daughter was upset. I heard her crying." "And you speak Chinese?" His tone sharpened. "Mandarin, yes. My grandmother raised me after my parents died. She was from Shanghai, spoke to me only in Mandarin until I started school." "How convenient." Daniel stepped closer. "How long have you been working here?" 8 months. "Long enough to research my family, I suppose." Sophie's small hand found Emily's arm. "Baba, she's not like the others. She just wanted to help." The next morning, Emily found a security badge on her cart. The note read, "Sophie has requested tutoring. 1 hour after your shift. My office. DM." That evening, Daniel's office felt like a courtroom. "Sophie tells me her Mandarin is rusty. Her mother insisted she learn it in Beijing. After Sarah died, I haven't been able to help." For the next hour, Sophie transformed. The quiet, hollow-eyed child became animated, laughing as they practiced tones and recalled memories. Daniel found himself drawn in. When Sophie whispered in Mandarin, "She's just like Mama," he stared at them, something raw and unguarded in his expression. Over the following weeks, Emily became Sophie's bridge back to her mother's memory. They read poetry, practiced calligraphy, talked about Beijing. Daniel began staying late, listening to his daughter's laughter. Sophie confided, "In Beijing, I wasn't weird for knowing 2 languages. Mama said I was lucky because I could love people in English and dream in Chinese." One Thursday, Sophie was curled in the corner, crying. "The kids at school say speaking Chinese makes me weird. Maybe if we'd stayed here, Mama wouldn't have gotten sick." Emily knelt beside her. "Your mama took you to Beijing because she loved you. She wanted you to carry her stories in your heart." Daniel appeared in the doorway, his face stricken. He'd heard everything. "Sophie, come here." As Sophie ran into his arms, Emily gathered her things. "Stay," Daniel said. "Please." The following Tuesday, chaos erupted. Chloe Richardson, Daniel's assistant, intercepted Emily with eyes like winter steel. "Some troubling information has come to light. Several employees reported you asking unusual questions about Mr. Miller's personal life. You researched the company extensively, including his family background." "I researched like any job applicant would." "How convenient that you speak the exact language his dead wife spoke. Mr. Miller is worth over $200 million. That makes Sophie quite a valuable connection." Chloe handed her an envelope. Inside a single sentence, "I think it's best if we take a break from the tutoring sessions." DM. That evening, Sophie called, crying. "They're saying terrible things about you. Daddy won't let me call you, but I snuck his phone." 3 days later, Daniel called. "I need you to come in now. Our interpreter for the Shanghai deal had a car accident. We have 12 executives from Beijing arriving in 2 hours. This merger is worth $400 million. What about other interpreters? Everyone's booked. Sophie suggested you. She said you speak like someone who lived in Beijing. I don't have business experience. I know. I'm asking anyway. Maybe I should have trusted her judgment from the beginning. When Emily entered the conference room, 12 executives turned to assess her. Mr. Chen studied her skeptically, asking in Mandarin, "Have you lived in Beijing?" "No, but my heart has always been there. My grandmother taught me that language carries a soul." For 3 hours, Emily became the bridge between two worlds. She conveyed intentions, cultural nuances, the emotional undertones that make or break relationships. After the executives left, Daniel said, "I owe you several apologies. After Sarah died, I built walls. Your presence terrified me. Not because I thought you were manipulative, but because caring meant risking loss again. Sophie asked if I was more afraid of you hurting us or of us not being good enough for you to stay. I'd like to offer you a position. Director of International Relations." The board saw the Shanghai contracts and Mr. Chen's recommendation. "Yes," Emily said. "Yes to the position. Yes to helping Sophie. Yes to trusting that sometimes good things happen to people like me." "You were never overlooked," Daniel said. "We were just looking in the wrong direction." Sophie peeked in. "Are you friends again?" "We're more than friends," Daniel said. "We're family." 1 year later, Emily stood before a classroom full of children, teaching Mandarin. Language isn't just words. It's connection. Sophie raised her hand. Like how you say "be careful" in Chinese, but you're really saying, "My heart is small when I worry about you." At the memorial ceremony for Sarah, Emily and Sophie read an inscription together. "Mama's love lives in my heart, and also in Aunt Emily's words." Daniel said quietly, "Thank you for seeing Sophie when I was too blind with grief, for teaching us that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about showing up." Emily watched Sophie chattering in English and Mandarin, completely comfortable in her multicultural identity. She saved herself. "I just provided vocabulary." "You didn't just help Sophie," Daniel continued. "You helped me discover who I want to be as a father." Emily looked at the memorial plaque, where Sarah's favorite proverb was etched. "A single act of kindness throws roots in all directions, and the roots spring up and make new trees." Her grandmother had been right. Language was indeed a bridge. But Emily had learned something more. Sometimes you don't just cross the bridge, you become it.